We all know that it's important to test your experiment in its entirety, but it can take a while to do that. So, ePrime 2.0 Professional introduces the eRun test feature to help you automate this task. This feature is turned on by default, but I just want to show you where you can configure it. If you double-click on the experiment object here, you go to the Devices, and you look at the Keyboard, the Auto Response tab. First, you'd like to check yes, that you do want to generate auto response values for this keyboard device. This means that when ePrime is running in eRun test mode, if you have a keyboard input mask, ePrime will automatically reply to it so that it can move on with the rest of your experiment for the test. You also have the ability to tell it when you would like to respond to an input mask. So in this case, you could say I'd like it to respond anywhere between 25% and 75% of the input mask time limit. You can also set it in cases where the time limit is infinite or set to end a procedure that you can have it terminate after a particular amount of time. So the default is 1 second. You can also have it control how often it answers correctly. This is based on the correct attribute in the input mask. In this case, the default means that about 80% of the time you will see a correct response, and it gets closer to 80% when you have more trials in a particular list. You can also specify what you would like the input mask to be answered as, if you have any for the allowable. Finally, you can control the number of responses that you'd like ePrime to make if you have a situation where you have greater than one response expected. So by default, everything is turned on, but if you wanted to have a particular input mask that does not use the auto run feature, you could go to the Duration Input tab here of an object's properties, and you'll find a keyboard input mask. In the Advanced section here, you will find that you can turn it off and on with this enabled feature. And finally, you can go to this eRun Test button here to start it. If you want to generate an experiment advisor report during the test, you can do so, and I definitely recommend that you do that, because if you're doing a test, then it's best to get as much information about what happened as possible, and so an experiment advisor will help you with that. And finally, if you want to speed up the experiment overall, just for the eRun test, you can change it here so that you can go at 4 times speed. Now, this isn't able to overcome hardware limitations. However, this is a good way to just get through a long experiment as quickly as possible. When you click the test button, it will start running on its own.